Dr. Drone, during your years at the university, what have been the most significant changes you have seen made at Auburn?
Well, of course, I think the most significant change has been the improvement in the financial support of the institution over the years since I came here. I came in the bottom of the Depression in 1931, and of course things were in terrible shape then. I came as a teacher at that time, and we went through some terrible years for about 8 or 10 years. The institution was in desperate shape, but it's been steadily improving since.
To what do you attribute the increase in support to Auburn and other colleges?
Well, I think that it's the awareness on the part of the public, really, of the great pressures that these state universities have been under since the close of World War II. And eventually it's borne home to these people that it's not only more difficult to get in college today, it's harder to stay in college, and it's harder to complete college than it used to be. People are more sensitive, I think, to the kind of education their children are getting, and more aware of the needs of these youngsters and more aware of the needs of the university.
What has this increased financial support enabled Auburn to do?
Well, gracious, we've been able to improve our faculty tremendously, I think, and to provide equipment and the tools for them to work at a much higher level than we were ever able to do before.
What, if you could pick one significant thing that you yourself have been responsible for here at the university, what would it be?
Gracious, I don't know. There have been a number of tremendously interesting developments at the institution since I've been president, but I think that maybe for the long haul,
So the plan that I have advanced to them is based purely on numbers, trying my best to keep rural people together and urban people together in districts, equal, even districts, and not only just districts, but centers of influence, trade centers, economic centers, centers of culture, based on 2 campaigns over this state, trying to know its people, know the sections of this state, and my own personal knowledge and experience that I gained from serving one term in the Senate of Alabama. I believe that my plan is fair and rational, and I shall so argue that it is fair and rational on September the 17th when the hearing date is set.
I've looked over this plan, and I haven't had too much time to think about it, but I frankly feel that this reapportionment plan that Flowers had presented would possibly be considered by the legislature in a special session. I think, however, there would be other matters that perhaps this Wallace administration would be more interested in than it would be in reapportionment.
When I argued this case before the United States Supreme Court, the Chief Justice, with the full court present, stated that Alabama had not followed its Constitution for the past 60 years. I asked that court at that time, please not to reapportion the state themselves, but return it to the 3-judge court here and give our legislature another chance to reapportion our legislature. Now they have failed or refused to do this, and the 3-judge court has served notice on us that if we desire to furnish a plan, that we may do so, but it seems that they are now going to face the task of reapportioning our legislature.
No, I see no need whatsoever for a special session. As you recall, the legislature convened in a special session back in February. The special session lasted entirely too long. We should have ended that special session no later than the 1st of April, if not sooner. Rather than that, the special session lasted right on up to the 1st of May. The legislature then was called to a regular session, when, of course, you know we just ended that last week. But the legislators have been on Capitol Hill now for over 7 months. And frankly, I think to call another special session at this time simply would serve no really useful purpose. To me, I think that anything that we could have accomplished, we should have accomplished. And I think that it would be a dreadful waste of money, taxpayers' money, to call a special session at this time. This money that would be necessary to finance a special session legislature could be used for far better purposes elsewhere. And I think it would be almost criminal to call a special session at this time. And frankly, wherever I go, my constituents tell me they're just rather darn tired of the legislature, generally speaking. They've seen enough of the legislature in Montgomery for the time being.
Well, if a special session does come about, reapportionment will be the thing, I suppose. Have you seen the Attorney General's plan for reapportionment, and have you had time to think about it?
Tragedy stalked the highways of Alabama again this weekend. 12 people lost their lives in 11 rural traffic crashes from 6 p.m. Friday till midnight last night. The fatality count to date this year has already passed the 500 mark, with the worst season yet to come. The weekend deaths occurred in the following counties: 2 in Talladega, 1 in Calhoun, Choctaw, Covington, Dallas, Lawrence, Limestone, Marengo, Walker, and Jefferson. We would like for you to give some sober thought to the forthcoming Labor Day weekend. We of the state troopers will be out in full strength, doing everything we can to prevent this needless suffering and death on our highways. But the only real solution is with you, the motoring public.
Tell us about the Highway Patrol at first. How was it formed and what was it like?
Well, it was, of course, quite a bit different from what it is today. Back in those days, we only had about 78 men. Most of us rode motorcycles. And the uniform of that day was forest green. We wore a little snappy little leather bow tie and high boots. And, of course, today, well, we wear the blue-gray uniform with the slack trousers. The boots, of course, are a thing of the past.
Of course, the patrol has grown in size from 78 to over 550 men now. How has the patrol's role changed?
Well, of course, now we have become more diversified in our work. We not only do traffic control work, but we also now have an investigative division. We have a driver license division, and also the service division, which of course has to do with safety education and training. So the work now has really become more diversified than ever before.
Any special thoughts that you have on retiring?
The only thoughts that I have, I guess, would be always would be a spot in my heart for the men that I've known and associated with, and it'll always be a bright spot in my life to have had the pleasure of associating with these fine people down through the years.
Dr. Meadows, when is the effective date for this, and can we count down briefly the requirements of the project?
The effective date is for this current year, starting right now for elementary and high schools. And the requirements are to participate in this $34.6 million for the state of Alabama. Number one, that project applications have to be made, which will show, first of all, that the effort is to benefit the children of the parents' is $2,000 income or less, $2,000 income or less. Now, you are not to segregate these children out from the other children. They're to all be taught together. But if you have 3% of the children that belong to this families of income less than $2,000, as long as it's not under 10, well, all the children in that school or class or project will participate, and that's most desirable. Another requirement is that the project locally show how the child is expected to improve, how you going to measure whether it improves the child's condition or not. And then a third requirement of this total program here is it must be a new program or it must expand an existing program. This money cannot be used just to do what you've been doing down through the years. And I think that's very important. But the main thing is the project must place emphasis on the individual. And I think that we think that's true of all education to a great extent, so that doesn't bother us so much.
How much money is slated for Montgomery County?
Montgomery is slated to get $1,265,000.
Who stands above us in
Jefferson County, including all the cities, is above you with $3 6/10 million, and Mobile slightly above you with $1 8/10 million. But it's interesting that Dallas County is Dallas County is authorized to receive $1,118,000.
Chief Owen, we've seen Safety Ed in the newspapers, we've heard him on the radio, and we've seen him on television. What is the purpose of Safety Ed?
Well, this is a symbol or personality that we're trying to develop that will represent the police department. All information from the Safety Education Bureau will be disseminated through this symbol or this personality, Safety Ed.
Now, is this information directed only at the children?
Well, at the present time, most of it is directed at children, but not necessarily. It'll be according to the situation, the season. It might be that he'll be directing remarks to the parents, or it may be to the children, it may be to the motorist. Say, at Christmas time, we may be telling the boys and girls how to skate, the safe skating rules, or again, we may be telling the people how to make the proper exits at the ball game, whatever it may be, and whatever is necessary, or anything that we might be able to present to prevent an accident. This information will be disseminated through the symbol or Safety Ed.
Basically, what is your purpose for the overall Safety Ed program?
Well, the overall purpose is to prevent accidents, of course. And our program is 17 years old. And as a result of that, we find ourselves in a position that we're taken for granted now. We've done a good job. We like to feel that we've done a good job for the past 17 years. And we're looking for new means to attract attention. And once we get the attention, of course, then we get the message over to the public. So our purpose, to prevent accidents.
Mr. Johnson, we understand you're hiking to Peru.
Yes, I'm coming from New York to the Republic of Peru on a goodwill mission to promote international goodwill for the United States.
I understand that you're a member of a Hikers and Campers Club.
The United States Explorers and Hikers Club of America, which I founded a couple of years ago.
Are they sponsoring this trip?
Yeah.
Tell us how the club works.
Everybody puts money in, and whoever goes on the trip takes it out.
Do you choose one to go on the trip at the end of the year?
Everybody picks a coin.
I see.
Well, describe your route. You started in New York, and you're here in Alabama now.
I went from New York to Pennsylvania, from Pennsylvania to Maryland, and the Virginias, the Carolinas, Georgia, and here.
And where will you go from here?
I'll go to Selma,
And then,
down to Jackson, Baton Rouge, and Texas, and then on into Mexico, and across to Panama and Peru.
is this your first long-range hike?
No, I hold a national record for 40,000 miles.
When was this?
Well, I'm hiking 5 years, 6 months out of the year.
I see. When you're not hiking to Peru, what do you do?
I'm a social worker.
In New York City?
Right. And I do want to say that I want to thank the Birmingham Police Department and staff for what they've done for me while I'm here, because they've been very nice in helping me.
I understand that you are going to visit the governor tomorrow.
Yes, I'm hoping to visit him.
Have you met a number of officials along the way?
Oh, yes. I've met all the governors from Pennsylvania on down.